Welcome back to Find Crypto. My name is Chase, level 1 CMT and full-time trader. Today, we're going to do our checkup from the neck up on Chainlink, right? We're going to look at the 4-hour to start with, so the short time frame. Then we'll zoom out to the daily, the 3-day, the weekly, and even the monthly, if you're good. So let's get right to it with no further ado. So Chainlink, the 4-hour, where could we possibly be going? We've been in a little bit of a downtrend over the past, 24, 48 hours or so. Is that about to end or not? Well, we don't know the future, right? We ain't got no crystal balls here, just brass ones, right? But we got to look up higher for our resistance. Do we have any resistance zone? I'm glad you asked. Of course we do. It's right here. Look, we have 3 touch points with no closes right above that. Then you could start to get this resistance area. So if you break through that, then price is much more likely to continue higher. But until proven otherwise, if anytime you tap it, right, that's likely resistance. So that area is around 15 to 1525, something like that, right? That's the general consent, right? That's what we're looking at for the 4-hour short term, right? Downterm, right? Where downterm, short term, right? You got it. We're looking to maintain our structure, our higher lows, right? Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. So far, right? We haven't really closed a couple here, but we could definitely get something like this and, be in jeopardy of closing this lower. If we take out a lower close at 1336, right, that's where this candle closed. If we close under that, then our next spot to look at is this 200 EMA, but more likely than not, that's not likely to hold because we would be taking out this low, right? We have just by transition, by definition, all the issues, we're putting in a lower low and we'd have to maintain the bias of the downtrend, right? The newly formed downtrend after rejecting 3 times off of this zone, okay? So that's over the next couple of days. I'd be watching that. 4-hour candles, right? Each candle is, you guessed it, 4 hours. Good job. Now let's zoom out to the daily to see if this still holds, true. Does that not as much, right? That's the consensus. Not as much. Why? Because even though there were closes on the 4-hour, we're just wicks on the daily. But nonetheless, right? How many times have we tried it, right? 1, 2 days there, 4, 5, 6 days, back-to-back days, and then you can't do it, and we go down. So we just need a close again above like 1525, and we're likely going up. However, there's some concerns here, right? The Bollinger Bands. Look at these top and bottom ones, right? They're pinching, right? Look how wide they have been. So that's by definition less volatile in prices, but less volatility leads to more volatility. So which is the way of the odds of the price to go? Well, you have to look at the price as these bands start to open. So could take another several days here, maybe even a couple of weeks. So hold your horses. But what the odds are, right? Look at this median line, the Bollinger Band. It's this thin purple line. I know it's difficult to see. You can squint real hard to get out your binoculars. And this right here, right? So wherever your price is as the bands start to open, the odds improve if your price is above or below that line. So if it's below, like it is now, and these bands start to open, the odds are that's the way you're going and the bigger move, right? And, who knows how long that big move lasts. It could last to the bottom of the band or the top of the band, right? Depending on which way you're going. The top of the band starts to flirt with 2023 highs at around 1650. So we could go that way. Obviously, altcoins, Chainlink included, are going to be, biased against whatever the hell Bitcoin's going to do. But we have some signs on Bitcoin too. So just a moment and we'll check that. So this is the daily chart. Now, what else is significant here is the daily EMA 21, the yellow line. You can see back here, we might have gotten our warning shot here, right? Usually when you start to close below the EMA 21, and when is the last time we did that, right? Back in this area, closing below the EMA 21 after an uptrend leads to either your best case scenario, consolidation, which we got here, or your worst case scenario, the start of a bigger downtrend. So if we start a new bigger downtrend and say we go down here over the next couple of days, where could we fall to? Well, we've talked about this in a couple of videos. You have to look to your left and see where the previous consolidation was. So the likely zone, even though it's relatively large here, and you want to include the closes, the highs, and right in that area. So from 1050 to 1150, not that bad, right? About $1 swing. that's very likely where we're going if we close a couple of candles below this daily 21 here on the daily chart. So today, are we going to hold it or not? We closed one here. That might have been a sign of weakness, right? When maybe this is just kind of a so-called dead cat bounce after the downtrend, and then we're actually getting ready to go down here. So we'll probably have our answer potentially by close of day tomorrow. So watch for that. So 3-day, let's zoom out a little bit more, right? Get a little bit bigger. So here's our zone, right? Less significant on the 3-day. So let's remove that. And this is less significant on the 3-day as well. But what is significant, and you can probably see it here, is this EMA 8 on this red, right? We haven't even closed below it, right? Since our explosive move up last October, right? Last month in October. So our move up, right? And this is the potential first time. We have 2 days, just over 2 days till we close this. If we close under the EMA 8, right, and put it on closing prices, you see 0 closes under that, right? We need to bounce here. If we do not bounce and we close below it, that is another sign that we're probably going into either a prolonged cool off, or B, a new downtrend, right? And this would be the uptrend and said downtrend, right? And then you'd want to be looking at your previous, your moving averages right below you, right? So the MA 14 in the purple, 21, and then there's your median Bollinger Band line, which is the SMA 20. If you didn't know that, if you ever put Bollinger Bands on your chart and you're like, what the hell is that line? What are these lines? Well, your median line is the SMA, simple moving average. And then I use exponential moving average. Some people only use EMAs. Some people only use SMAs. We're non-biased here. All right, so now let's move out to the weekly chart, right? One of the more important charts to be watching for. So our long, 500-day sideways trend breakout, are we going to retest that? Maybe. But I like the fact, what do we have going for us for the bulls, right? Where this zone is below the 200-week moving average. Not likely after a breakout, you're going to close back below the 200-week. It's just not likely. You can go back and look at Bitcoin's history, the stock market history. It just does not happen, and it's very rare if it ever does. So that's what we do have going for us if you're a Chainlink bull, which I think the majority of us here are. At least for the long term. So even if you're bearish on the short term, which I don't, you look at this chart, I don't know, have no idea why, you're above all moving averages, you've been hugging the top Bollinger Band, right? We're due for at least a little bit of a cool off. You want that to maintain health, right? You don't want to just keep going up here, right? That'll collapse like a stack of cards. Okay, so we don't want to do that. We need a cool off. Now, where could we cool off to and still remain healthy? Well, hello, the elephant in the room is the EMA 8, right? Have you not been paying attention, right? So that price is 1270, thereabouts, right? Could change as the weeks go by, but that's my primary target for the macro scale weekly, at least for now, 1284. If we go down, right, if that's a big if, right? We're watching the 4-hour, the shorter terms to see if we, get that if, and if we do on the short term, that's my bigger macro scale target, at least initially, as of right now. Right, that changes a little bit. 1275 as of right now, right? You see right there. Okay, so that's our EMA ribbon. Would be absolutely healthy. We could absolutely just, kind of draw our way up here, right? Kind of form this kind of little bull flag, real nice and tight, right? You want bull flags tight. You don't want this long shit like this, right? That's not a bull flag, right? A lot of people confuse that, right? Bull flags, bear flags, you want them, nice big flagpole. Tight move, quick move, consolidation, and then go again. So we need this to bounce within the next, 1 to 2 candles at the most. Okay, so that's what we're looking for the macro scale. If we don't, no big deal. It just what happens if we close below the EMA 8? The odds are simply going up that we're going to test either the EMA 14 next or the 21. Right, those would be kind of my worst case targets down in this area. And absolutely what we talked about last video is the 200-week. If we're lucky enough to get down there again, maybe we briefly see a single digit chain link, and then that would be your key to load the truck up, right? So let's move out to the biggest scale, the monthly. Look at this explosive move for Chainlink. Nice move to the downside, nice consolidation, building our base back up for the new move. 1, 2, 3 green months in a row, pressing outside the monthly Bollinger Band. Good sign, right, of things to come. Very good sign. 50 month in this green, right? Look at rejection, rejection, rejection. Once we broke that, right? The bulls are breaking loose. And why have we hesitated here? Well, I mean, we've looked at this in previous videos, but if you haven't watched any of those, of course you haven't. This is, obvious. The monthly chart, right? Here's our lows, right? The previous consolidation at the $20 area right here. But if you put on closing prices, right, you have a low close there, our initial and only bear market bounce right there at the top, right? And then, if you put all the wicks back in place, I mean, look at all the liquidity back in here. Our initial sell-off from our summer bubble in 2020, when we got to the $20 price point for a fleeting moment, and then, bounce back down to the EMA 8, and then, upwards we go, and our move back to the bear market, and, previous little consolidation, only run green candle for Chainlink, pretty much the entire bear market downtrend, right? Just one fleeting moment, and that's where we are, and that's where we held, right? No surprise, right? Look at the macro scale, and very few surprises are going to catch you off guard if you're looking in the right places. So, the bulls would argue that we're pressing outside the monthly Bollinger Bands, and that is, great, right? Price by definition is high though, so not likely going to just continue to melt through that until we get a little bit more of a, a base move. So I wouldn't be surprised if the whole crypto market kind of chills out for maybe the next month going into December. And then we kind of consolidate. And then, once Chainlink breaks, $17 on the monthly scale, $20 kind of on the daily or weekly scale, I think all bets are off, and we'll be focusing on our next high of $30 pretty quickly. So, trade tables are down, and you can walk about the cabin now. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just saying it's not panic mode now, right? It's kind of just lollygagging. We're going sideways. It's chill time, right? Pop some champagne, have your peanuts. Or do they do pretzels now? I feel like the whole peanut soft generation has I haven't been on a plane in a minute, if you can't tell. But I feel like I've heard that no more peanuts because of the allergies. Ugh. Where the hell path are we on here? Where have we sidetracked to? The peanut allergies on airplanes at the end of the Chainlink video. That's where we've gone. The seatbelts on. That's where now we got the train of thought back, right? Seatbelts on after $17 to $20 Chainlink on the the macro scales. Until then, your trade tables are down. You can go about the cabin. You can complain to the stewardesses that you don't have peanuts and you wanted your goddamn peanuts. All right, so hopefully you helped. Hopefully I helped you learn something there. Words are hard. If you like the video, thumbs up if you haven't already. If you want more content, Bitcoin, we update every day in our Patreon Telegram group. You can take requests there. I'm there every day. If you're interested in that. If not, no big deal. I'll see you back here, or you'll see me back here. I never see you. Let's get to our quote of the day. The more fun stuff. For the two of you that are still here. November 27th, that's today. It's Monday, after the holiday. Hope you had a good one. Or, at least you're still alive, right? If it wasn't good, I mean, life. Treasure the love you receive above all. It will survive long after your good health has vanished. By the OG. All right, card of the day. Dodge Viper. I crack myself up. No one else laughs, but I do. So, a Dodge Viper is the original. It's like it's approaching 25 years old now, right? Late 90s. This was a true banger. Still pretty epic in my book. Still looks pretty timeless. Let's get a red version. How about a new version from the rear, right? The rear. I mean, then you can start to see the wideness, right? It starts to get pretty wide. Probably the widest tires of the time. I mean, we're looking at, monsters there. Right, hard to flip one of these things. But did you know Dodge Viper owners have a hard time reading? No parking. New car. No parking. This guy gets it. He's like, I'll just go by the pond. Right? The police came. It's the same place. Right? This is in front. They made him move. So he said, I'll shoot by the pond. Right? I clearly cannot read the 7 signs in front of me. I'm sure there's another one over here. How would I know? Well, look at the other thing. There's another. It's anytime. You can't just I don't care if you have a Viper or not. Any time. It says right there in blurry 480 pixel. All right, I'll wrap it up there. Hopefully you found this helpful, if not mildly entertaining. this jacket is way too cool for me. So I've got to go take it off. I give it back to whoever I stole it from. I'll see you on the next one. Have a happy Halloween.